Little Hands Big Attitude, Book 2 Little Steps. Big Changes, Chapter 7, A Trip to Mom's Day, Job.
Good morning, Wachowskis.
Allison greeted.
What brings everyone into the office today?
Shots!
Sonic grumbled as he led the way into the front lobby.
Big, pointy needles that go right through you.
Stop it.
Tom informed.
You're only gonna make Tails more nervous.
Not to worry, Tails.
Maddie assured as she came out of the back, happy.
It's not as bad as it sounds. Or as bad as your brother makes it sound.
They then turned as a little lilac cat appeared from behind the desk, wearing a pink tunic with tulle flowers on the front, white leggings, and little white and pink shoes.
And it's not a frequent requirement. Isn't that right, Miss Maddie?
Right.
Maddie replied with a smile.
Boys, this is Blaze. She's one of the newcomers who's been staying with Allison.
Told you one of them might be a girl.
Tails whispered, elbowing the hedgehog gently in the ribs. Sonic elbowed his little brother right back.
Hi, I'm Sonic and this is Tails and...
Tails waved, but Knuckles was just staring at the cat, eyes wide.
Knuckles? You good man?
The echidna shook out of his stare. His cheeks suddenly turned pink.
Forgive me. Our mother did not inform me that one of the new arrivals was.
What?
Blaze frowned in disappointment.
A girl?
Knuckles quickly regained his composure, and then gave a bow.
Actually, I was going to say beautiful. I was simply distracted by your elegance for a moment, Miss Blaze. Please forgive me.
Blaze gave a little gasp, and then ducked behind Allison with giggle.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Knuckles.
Oh no.
Sonic whispered in horror, especially once he saw his mother's giddy grin.
Mom!
Knuckles then placed a hand over his chest.
I am Knuckles, last of the Echidna tribe, and the greatest warrior in the galaxy. And you are?
The cake came back out and gave a curtsy.
Blaze, last descendant of the House of Soul.
Knuckles took her hand very gently.
My lady?
Blaze giggled again, and Sonic looked at his mom again, who was still grinning.
Mom, don't tell me you think this is funny.
No, Sonic.
Maddie murmured.
I think it's sweet.
The hedgehog gave a grossed out look, and Tails seemed a bit perplexed by his older brother's behavior. Knuckles was only being slightly more formal and polite than he normally was, and Sonic seemed upset by that for some reason.
And this...
Tom pulled the tiny hedgehog out of his tiny carrier, as he remembered he hadn't introduced him yet.
This is Obsidian.
He's the youngest, though I guess that's obvious.
Blaze smiled, waving at Obsidian.
Hello, Obsidian.
Obsidian whimpered, his bottom lip sticking out as he looked like he was about to cry. Tom turned him around and held him close as soon as he noticed.
It's okay, little guy. She's not gonna hurt you.
He comforted as Obsidian's claws dug into his shirt.
It's okay.
Sonic shrugged.
Don't take it personally, Blaze. He did the same thing when he met our grandma. I think he's just easily scared by new people. He'll get used to you.
Blaze nodded, looking back at the little hedgehog, who now seemed to be actively trying not to look at her.
Alright, boys, let's not take up the entire hallway here. Still sticking to the plan, you first Knux?
Knuckles gave a firm nod.
The order is still in motion.
He gave a slight bow to the cat again.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Miss Blaze.
The same to you, Warrior Knuckles.
Blaze replied, watching the echidna follow his mother into the hall beyond the lobby before climbing up into the spare chair behind the counter.
Now, where were we, Miss Allison?
Sorta.
Blaze nodded, looking at a map that had been pinned to a piece of cardboard.
It is southeast, yes?
Correct.
What are you doing?
Sonic asked as he looked over the counter. Blaze held up the map.
Miss Allison is helping me learn all 50 states of this country. I thought it'd be important to familiarize myself with as much about it as I can.
She's quite interested in the political history and geography. Silver's more on science so far.
Silver?
She pointed in one of the other corners, and they saw another hedgehog curled up on the floor, under the counter asleep, a blanket wrapped around him, and another blanket rolled up, to act as a pillow.
He's still getting over the flu, so he's been zoinked out on NyQuil all morning. He's barely rolled over since he settled under there 2 hours ago.
Still? You sure he's not dead?
Blaze frowned, her fur sticking up a bit.
Miss Allison would never allow such a thing to happen. She is quite confident he will fully recover within a few days.
Allison patted the cat's leg.
Right, he's already doing much better. Right, he's already doing much better.
Some human illnesses might affect you guys worse than it does us, so it's taking Silver longer to get over it.
Tails perked up.
So, do you have any cool powers, Blaze?
No, not really.
That's okay, I don't either. I can just build stuff.
You can fly with you, Tails. That's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, but that's not as cool as what you and Knuckles can do. What about Silver?
Blaze's ears perked up again, and she gave a smile.
He does indeed, but I will not spoil the surprise and will allow him to properly demonstrate when he is returned to his full strength. It would be rude to relinquish him of that.
Sonic rolled his eyes as he took a seat beside Tom in a chair.
Oh, great. Another one who speaks in fancy.
Tom removed his ball cap to gently smack the hedgehog on the top of the head, causing Obsidian to giggle.
Hey, be nice. You've had plenty of things weird about you too.
I didn't say it was weird.
Your tone did, and that's just as important.
Sonic frowned, slumping a bit in his seat as Tails came around the counter.
So how many states have you identified?
He and Blaze spent the next few minutes working together on the map, with Tails helping her and answering the occasional question or providing little facts about a state. She did seem quite interested in the subject, asking Tails to elaborate on some of the facts, which the fox was happy to do. A few minutes later, Knuckles returned with Maddie, replacing Sonic in the chair as the hedgehog begrudgingly walked back towards the hall.
Off to the gallows.
He whined with a sad face to Tails.
Come on, you drama queen.
Maddie muttered as she dragged her middle son away. Knuckles puffed up his chest.
Fear not, Tails. It was nowhere near the torture the hedgehog has been alluding to.
Tails gave his oldest brother a smile, but he still looked nervous. Both he and Blaze looked down as Silver shifted position, and then the hedgehog's eyes opened.
Watch the crossbeam.
Allison warned as he sat up, and the hedgehog tilted his head to avoid hitting it on the piece of wood between the legs of the desk. He must have already hit his head on it once. The hedgehog moaned, blinking and wincing at the light coming from above.
How long was I to sleep this time?
About 2 hours. You want something to eat?
Silver looked at her wearily for a moment, and then nodded.
Okay, I've got some crackers in the drawers here.
Knuckles had not been present when the others saw Silver under the desk, so he came around to investigate the voice coming from there.
Greetings.
It was about the time that Silver woke up enough to notice Knuckles and Tails there, eyes widening a bit.
You guys are like us. I mean, I knew about the other blue hedgehog, but...
We get it.
Tails responded with a smile as he came over.
My name's Tails, and this is my brother Knuckles, our other brother Sonic.
The blue one.
Right. He's in the back getting shots, and then our dad and little brother Obsidian are on the other side of the counter.
Hey there, Silver.
Silver looked back and forth between them, as if he couldn't believe what he was seeing.
Whoa.
He whispered, and then he took the tiny package of crackers from Allison.
Oh, thank you, Miss Allison.
No problem. You feeling any better?
In comparison to when we first got here, yes. But compared to this morning, not really. Still coughing and my nose is still a little congested is the word you used.
I'm sorry, kiddo. At least the NyQuil's helping you sleep.
Silver nodded slowly, pulling the package open and slipping a cracker into his mouth.
I haven't slept like this in a long time.
He didn't seem to want to talk much, just sat there quietly nibbling on the cracker. But then again, it may just be that he wasn't feeling well. They heard a commotion coming from the back, and Tails had to wonder if Sonic was actually putting up a fight over the injections. He could hear his mom giving exasperated sounds, and then it was followed by the loud slamming of a heavy door and Sonic's muffled shouts.
What the heck is going on back there?
Allison tilted her head with a thoughtful look towards the hall.
Sounded like the doors to the kennels.
There was a few seconds of Sonic's faint voice, and then they heard the door open and close again, and when Maddie returned a moment later, Sonic was quietly following her with guilty look.
What happened?
Mom didn't appreciate my joke.
Sonic mumbled, taking a seat beside Tom. Maddie rolled her eyes.
He was being overdramatic and playing dead, so I put him in timeout for a few seconds.
Sonic scrubbed at his face.
I thought she was gonna leave me there.
Hey, if you hadn't been so dedicated to your act, then you would have known what was going on and been able to get out of there before I even closed the door.
So really, if anyone's to blame, it's you, Sonic.
Sonic pouted, but the glint of humor in his eyes told them he wasn't that mad as Mom. The woman turned to Tails.
All right, sweetie. It's your turn. Good morning, Silver.
Morning, Miss Maddie.
Sonic suddenly zipped over, leaning over the counter to look at the other hedgehog with a grin.
Hey, other hedgehog.
Silver's eyes were wide as he stared back at the other hedgehog.
Hi? You're really fast, you know that?
Knuckles rolled his eyes.
Young Silver, you have no idea.
Tails took his mom's hand, waving to the others as he followed her behind the Dutch doors and then into the hallway. They entered a different room with pastel wallpaper and colorful posters of puppies and kittens on them.
Did you really lock Sonic up?
Only for a second. But yes, I did. He was making it a bigger deal than it needed to be. And I didn't want him making you more stressed out.
She picked him up and placed him on the table.
Would it make you less scared if I show it to you first?
Tails twiddled his thumbs, but then nodded.
This is just in the arm, right? Not anywhere else?
Baby, if you think I'm going to shoot a needle up your butt, then the answer is no.
Maddie giggled.
Look here. This is all it is. A tiny little needle. You won't even hardly feel it. And it doesn't even go all the way in.
Tails looked at the needle for a moment and then nodded.
And this will keep me from getting sick?
Yeah, at least from the diseases that are the most dangerous. You may still get the occasional virus, but we won't have to worry about rabies or something like that.
Will Obsidian get shots too?
Eventually. You enjoy having him around?
Of course I am. I've never had a little brother before, and for the most part, he's pretty happy. I mean, sure, he's been stealing my stuff lately, but I'm sure he doesn't mean anything by it. He's just curious.
Uh-huh. And done.
Done?
Tails looked down at his arm, raising a brow.
You did it so fast and I didn't even feel it.
Exactly. See what I mean about Sonic making a big deal over nothing?
Tails nodded, hopping off of the table. He took her hand again, letting her take him back out to the front lobby, where they heard Sonic chattering away.
Come on, give me a hint.
The hedgehog was on the counter, leaned over the side to talk to Silver, who was lying down again and looked up at him.
No.
Please.
No?
What if I said pretty please with a cherry on top covered in a banana sundae?
Well, since you put it like that. No.
You are so boring.
What is going on here?
Your son is trying to get Silver to show him his super cool, amazing powers. It's not going so well for him. Sonic, leave him alone. He's still sick after all. How would you feel if I kept bothering you when you didn't feel well?
And get off the counter. It's not a sitting area.
Sonic grumbled, but did as she asked. Tails looked over to his dad and littlest brother. Obsidian was still clinging to his dad's shirt and not looking in their direction. He seemed really uncomfortable. Maybe he thought he was next. He walked over and stroked the toddler's back.
No worries, Hobby. You won't be getting any shots today. We're gonna head back home right now, right?
Yep.
He got up and walked around to Maddie, giving her a peck on the cheek.
See you back at the house, babe.
Bye, babe.
Maddie then bent down and accepted hugs from each of her boys, and then planted a quick peck on Obsidian's head.
See you all later, boys.
Bye, Mom.
Tails gave her one last hug, and then they all hurried back out the front door, headed for the truck.
I hope Silver and Blaze can get settled in like we did. It'll be nice to have some more friends.
Yeah, once Silver stops being a buzzkill.
Tom smacked the hedgehog on the head with his hat again, and Obsidian burst into giggles.
Oh, you think that's funny, huh?
He does indeed.
Knuckles assured, giving a look to Obsidian as if he was fully confident that he was right.
Matt.
Oh, sure. You'll say his name, but not mine.